So Jim, you were kind of, I suppose, crowned unofficially as the Prince of Irish pop music for a long time. Was that something that ever sat well with you, or were you kind of eager to shrug that off?
The Prince of Irish pop music, that's the first time I heard that.
I shouldn't think so. I mean, when you think about the success that you guys had, especially during the 90s, we'll say whatever you've done in the meantime. But initially, I mean, not everybody just were, we were hit with the boom of the Corrs, and it was worldwide, and you were the man behind it. So, I mean, obviously.
Well, there's four of us in the band. It's only fair to say that we each contribute. Let me just start that again. It's fair to say that there's four of us in it, and we each contribute equally to the band and to the direction that it takes it to the songwriting. I think initially when we started off, it was probably it was more on my shoulders, but the girls developed into wonderful songwriters themselves.
How diplomatic of you.
No, I'm deadly serious. Caroline and Andrew wrote "Runaway."
Okay.
That was one of our biggest hits. And
was that a surprise for you? Say you were in the middle of this formulated writing process that you have going, and suddenly the girls turn up with this, the goods, if you like. I mean, that must have been a shock, was it? A good shock.
It was a very pleasant surprise, yeah, because it was this. I probably, unknowns to me at the time, was probably feeling a lot of pressure. That was kind of on my shoulders in terms of the writing, and I wouldn't churn them out at a great speed. So yeah, it was a very pleasant surprise when we discovered that the girls could write themselves as well as they do.
Tell me though, before that point, I mean, you say that you've been writing for a long time, and I know that you were involved with other bands previous to the Corrs. What kind of stuff were you listening to, and what was in your back catalogue? Like, what were you churning out, we'll say, and what was it influenced by?
It was kind of everything and anything. We listened. It was really all across the board, from classical music to church organ music to pop, rock, and even some heavy metal. So one of my favourite bands growing up, I think, would have been the Police. Okay. So there's an awful lot of influences in our music, not just of a Celtic nature. We listen to the Beatles, we listen to the Beach Boys, the Rolling Stones, and many other bands. So there's an eclectic mix of music within our style. But I think we were drawn, in particular, to obviously the Celtic style, which we incorporated into our music.
I mean, people would say that, if you like, it's almost cliche. You're an Irish band, you're launched onto the world stage, and then suddenly you go back and you decide to do an Irish album. But yet it's not cliched. Were you eager to sort of prove yourself that you could come up with the goods in a non-cliched way, or did you just sort of go for it and then it just became what it was and it spoke for itself?
Well, it wasn't really about trying to prove ourselves. I mean, we grew up listening to our parents performing and practicing themselves, and so that was the environment we grew up in. So a lot of those songs that we did on the last album, which was the Home album, we would have heard them practicing and performing. We loved that material, and it wasn't that we were trying to prove ourselves. It was just we wanted to do something that we loved.
They're beautiful tracks, though. They really are.
Aren't they? Yeah, they really are. It's one of my favourite albums. I still love listening to that album, and which is something, because most bands get really fed up of listening to their own material, because from the moment of conception to the when you're performing on the stage, you've played and listened to these tracks so many times, you get really fed up with them. But I haven't got fed up with one song on the whole album yet.
And so, I mean, it's been a bit of a period of time, I'll say, since you've sort of done your last tour. What have you guys been doing in the interim? Have you been recording, have you been writing, just taking a rest? What have you been doing?
Primarily, we took a long break. I think we were travelling so extensively and working so intensively that we needed a long break. So we took that break.
You had crazy tours though.
We had, yeah. I mean, sometimes we'd. Excuse me. I remember one time we did I think something like 4 continents in 3 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, it was really crazy, and it was taking its toll on us. It really does. It's a wonderful occupation. It's wonderful to make an occupation on what was your hobby, but there's a hell of a lot of work involved in it. And we needed the break, so we took a pretty long break. But also, of course, some of the girls got married, and babies came along as well.
And you became a father, actually, didn't you?
And I became a father as well. Yeah.
How old is your son now?
He's 4 now.
Okay.
It's fun.
Are you getting into music at all? Show any sort of...
Yeah, I've got him playing 3 blind mice at the moment.
Okay.
And you can find middle C on the piano, which is pretty good.
So he's probably ahead of anybody in the chart at the moment, so...
I don't know.
What are you guys planning on recording again? I know there were some things in the paper about you going back to the studio. Where are you at with that at the moment?
Yeah, there's a possibility that we're going to get back into the studio soon, and we would love to do it. We've been asked to do it by the record company, so it's a possibility. We're still in negotiations, but it's on the cards.
Okay, well, we look forward to that. Something else I just want to touch on briefly before I let you go is your other work sort of as an activist, if you like. I don't really know how to phrase that correctly. I mean, what would you call what you're doing?
Well, I suppose it is activism of a sort. You know, what I'm doing is bringing out the truth as I see it to people, because I believe that I've discovered that a lot of lies are being told in the mainstream media, and I think that people deserve to know what the truth is. So I've been trying to bring the truth to people through my website and through the interviews that I do. And
you're dealing mostly with, we'll say, the theories around what really happened with 9/11.
Yes.
And issues with the swine flu vaccination as well. I mean, is there anything sort of on a local level? I mean, that seems very kind of out there and far away from us as regular people, but is there any particular issue that you've been kind of working on that would affect sort of everyday people like myself? I'm sure everything does it in a small way, but is there anything more sort of tangible and sort of...
Well, there is. That's quite the thing. As I would hope that people try and grasp the truth of what happened on 9/11, because it is affecting us every time we go through an airport with the increased heightened security and all that. It does affect us. But yeah, there's local issues that I get involved in. I mean, we're trying to not just cut hospital services, but close hospitals in lots of counties around the country, and in my hometown of Dundalk. So I'm involved with that, and they just recently said that they're getting rid of the anaesthetists. You know, that means surgery's gone. It means it cuts out an awful lot of medical practices that are going to be gone. So they're incrementally trying to shut the hospital down. That's what I believe, and I think it's terrible. For a population of 40,000 people, we should have our own hospital. We have a wonderful hospital. So that's one of the things that I'm involved in as well.
Well, it's great that you can use your voice and I suppose your persona publicly to support issues like that. I wish you a lot of luck with that, and thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Anything you want to do again? Are you okay?